carved into a clay tablet over 4,000 years ago and mapped onto modern astronomical data.
What if one of history's greatest astronomical mysteries had been recorded on a clay tablet 4,000 years ago? Hidden in the British Museum is a 4,000-year-old artifact known as K.8538. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary clay tablet, but according to its text, Earth once had a second moon that appeared in the night sky, remained there for nearly a year, and then vanished in a spectacular event remembered across several ancient civilizations. Was it myth? Or could the Sumerians have witnessed something history almost forgot? The tablet that started the mystery. To most museum visitors, K.8538 is just another clay tablet from ancient Mesopotamia. It doesn't stand out among the thousands of cuneiform records that document grain supplies, taxes, trade, and daily life. But unlike those ordinary records, this tablet appears to be an astronomical diary, a detailed account created by professional Sumerian skywatchers. These observers weren't storytellers inventing myths. Their job was to watch the skies night after night, recording the movements of the moon, planets, and stars with remarkable consistency. In ancient Mesopotamia, astronomy wasn't simply about curiosity. It helped determine planting seasons, religious festivals, and even flood predictions. A mistake could affect an entire civilization. Over generations, the Sumerians built an organized system for tracking the heavens. Trained scribes observed the sky from dedicated towers, carefully recording celestial movements for centuries. That attention to detail is what makes K.8538 so unusual. The tablet begins with familiar observations, moon phases, planetary positions, and routine celestial events. Everything follows the same structured format found in other Sumerian astronomical records. Then, without warning, the tone changes. The scribe introduces something he had apparently never seen before. He describes a mysterious object he calls the Stranger Moon, a second celestial body that suddenly appeared in Earth's sky. According to the text, it was smaller than the familiar moon, but noticeably brighter, with a surface that glowed like hammered copper. Even more unusual, it followed a completely different path across the heavens, completing its orbit far more quickly than Earth's natural satellite. The scribe repeated his measurements several times and noted that observers in nearby cities reported seeing the same object, suggesting the sighting wasn't isolated. Instead of writing vague descriptions, the tablet records exact positions, distances, and timing. It carefully documents where the stranger moon appeared, how it moved relative to the familiar moon, and the points where their paths crossed. For many researchers, this level of detail is what separates the tablet from mythology. If the Sumerians believed they were watching a real object in the sky, what exactly had they discovered? And why would their observations attract the attention of modern astronomers thousands of years later, when modern science took notice? For decades, many historians dismissed the tablet's references to a second moon as symbolism or a copying mistake. That changed in 2008, when astronomer Dr. Robert Massey from the University of Bristol examined a translation of K.8538 while researching ancient eclipse records. The tablet contained precise angular measurements, showing the stranger moon's position at different points in its journey across the sky. Instead of treating them as symbolic descriptions, Massey entered the data into orbital mechanics software used to model satellite trajectories. According to the calculations, the measurements described a stable orbit that could have been visible from Mesopotamia between 2094 and 2093 BCE. Even more surprising, the object's path matched the tablet's description of a retrograde orbit, meaning it traveled opposite Earth's rotation. The software also showed that the recorded measurements weren't random. When converted into modern units, they closely matched a mathematically possible orbital path. To Massey, there were only two possibilities. Either the Sumerians possessed observational skills far beyond what historians had assumed, or they had carefully recorded a real astronomical event that had largely been forgotten. Many archaeologists argued the tablet was still being interpreted too literally, while others believed the calculations deserved further investigation. Ancient astronaut theorists embraced the discovery as evidence of something extraordinary, but mainstream researchers remained cautious, pointing out that extraordinary claims require equally convincing evidence. The debate might have ended there if K.8538 had been the only source. Researchers compared the tablet with other ancient records. Akkadian, Egyptian, and Chinese texts all describe an unusual object appearing in the sky during roughly the same period, a similarity that continues to spark debate. Although each civilization told the story differently, they all shared one striking detail. They described an unfamiliar object appearing in the sky, remaining visible for months, and eventually disappearing after a dramatic event. Another discovery added to the mystery. At an archaeological site in northern Syria, researchers uncovered stone markers believed to have been used for astronomical observations. One carving appeared to show two separate orbital paths around Earth, one matching the familiar lunar cycle and another following a shorter, irregular path. Carbon dating placed the site within the same general time period described by the Sumerian tablet. On their own, none of these discoveries prove that Earth once had a temporary second moon. But together, they raise a question that has fascinated researchers for years. If several ancient civilizations recorded the same strange event, what exactly disappeared from the sky, and how did they all remember it so similarly? The night the second moon vanished. Every civilization that mentioned the stranger moon also recorded what happened next, and this is where the story becomes truly unsettling. According to the Sumerian tablet, the object's orbit remained stable for nearly 11 months before it began to change. Night after night, the stranger moon drifted closer to Earth's natural satellite. The ancient sky watchers noticed the shift immediately, documenting each movement with growing concern. The tablet describes increasing panic among the observers. Priests ordered special ceremonies, rulers sought advice from their scholars, and the people waited as the mysterious object followed an increasingly unpredictable path. Then everything changed. On the final night, the stranger moon suddenly flared with incredible brightness before breaking apart in the sky. The tablet describes the event as the sky that wept fire. Thousands of glowing fragments reportedly streaked across the heavens, creating a meteor storm that lasted for days. According to the account, fragments fell across Mesopotamia, causing fires and destruction. Other ancient records describe similar scenes of blazing objects and widespread damage. Archaeologists have also noted evidence of disruption in parts of Mesopotamia around the same period. Some settlements show signs of sudden abandonment, damaged structures, and interruptions in everyday life. While these findings cannot be directly linked to the tablet's account, they continue to fuel discussion about what ancient observers may have witnessed. The event also appears to have changed the way civilizations studied the sky. Surviving astronomical records became more detailed in the years that followed, suggesting that ancient astronomers were determined to watch the heavens more carefully in case another unusual object appeared. If the stranger moon really existed, what could it have been? And could modern science explain how an object like that briefly entered Earth's orbit? What could the stranger moon have been? One of the leading explanations comes from modern planetary science. Rather than proposing a permanent second moon, some researchers suggest the tablet may describe a temporary natural satellite, a captured asteroid that briefly entered Earth's orbit before breaking apart. According to this theory, an asteroid briefly entered Earth's orbit before gravitational forces pulled it closer, causing it to break apart. The result would have resembled the fiery event described on the tablet. Supporters of this idea point to the tablet's detailed observations. The object's unusual orbit, its changing position in the sky, and its reported disappearance all fit what scientists would expect from a temporary captured object. While the theory remains debated, it offers a possible scientific explanation for one of the ancient world's greatest mysteries. The story also carries a modern warning. Astronomers know that Earth occasionally captures small objects from space. Most are tiny, remain in orbit only briefly, and pose no danger before drifting away again. In fact, temporary natural satellites have been observed in recent years, proving that the phenomenon is possible. The difference is size. If an object as large as the one described on K.8538 had entered Earth's orbit, the consequences could have been far more dramatic. Computer simulations suggest that if such an object had remained intact instead of breaking apart, it might have caused catastrophic damage had it struck the planet. Today, K.8538 remains in the British Museum. For thousands of years, the mystery of the stranger moon has survived on a single clay tablet. What do you think the Sumerian scribes really witnessed? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more ancient mysteries.